Love that you're all here on a Friday. Fridays, we do a few things regularly. The Florida news is one of them. The checking in with Michael Shore is another on politics in the past week. And lastly, before we wrap up, we like to look at the world of streaming, the world of movies, the world of television, the sort of also music. He does it all. This guy covers it all. He's a remarkable man with a broad area of expertise when it comes to the arts. He comes and goes on a rainbow. The great Michael Snyder, the Culture Blaster, everyone.
Hey, hi, everybody. Mark, Kim, Albert, wherever he is. I don't know, Tony.
Matt is your North Star on today's show. Okay, so get it together. Okay, Matt is filling in for Albert.
Hello to Matt. You know, with apologies to Kim and the 7 aligning planets, the real celestial event this weekend will be the Academy Awards. It's Oscar weekend, and I'm in San Francisco instead of Hollywood. What's wrong with me? Oh my God. Anyway, great timing as usual.
Well, the Oscars transcend geography, Michael, so I'm sure you can participate.
I know. I'll be watching it with some of my pals on Sunday, but in the meantime, I just wanted to get a few people who care up to date about some nightlife stuff in the Bay Area. The annual Noise Pop Festival in San Francisco, which kicked off on February 20th, wraps up on Sunday, and I caught my pals, the Flamin' Groovies, and a terrific Sacramento band, the Losing Streaks, at the 4-Star Theater on Clement last weekend. Highlights for this final weekend of Noise Pop include Nick Lowe, the great Nick Lowe, and Los Straitjackets at the Great American Music Hall, and Mercury Rev at the Rickshaw Stop, both tonight, and Soccer Mommy at the Fillmore tonight. And tomorrow, I will be at the Cat Club tomorrow evening for Booty's I Love the Early 2010s mashup party. I mean, it's already nostalgia, right? I can't believe this.
Matt, you may not realize this, Matt, our newest crew member. Michael used to be a super cool DJ at the underground club scene in San Francisco in the Bay Area in the 80s. He was like the cool guy. He was the guy. So when he mentions that he's going to, this booty thing, which is a great, that's also a DJ-driven night, mostly, right, Michael? It's quite special, and so it gets your endorsement. Yeah.
Yeah, the Adriana Roberts manning the wheels of steel for mashups.
Yeah.
And I do want to make a point. I also was spinning well into the 1990s. You make me sound like some kind of fossil, but no, Mark.
Well, I don't remember. I wasn't there in the 90s. I was there when I saw you in the 80s there.
That's true. That's true.
I didn't realize it. I apologize. I didn't mean to seem like like your best days are behind you, even though your best days clearly are behind you. All right, go ahead.
But speaking of the past and the present and the future, my friend, the fashion designer Alicia Amnesia, has a new storefront on Sutter for the very cool Punk Majesty line of slogan bedecked clothes and stuff. But she also has a very cool photo exhibit up with select images from the glam rock photographer Lee Black Childers, including some rare shots of Bowie and Iggy, and punk rock shots by San Francisco photographer Ruby Ray. Worth dropping by tomorrow, Saturday, and checking it all out during business hours. And speaking of business, shall we get to the movies at hand?
Yes. Fossil, you mean like someone who has not upgraded to video? Just give me the truth. The reason Michael doesn't come on with his video live is because he's got a lot of notes and he's working off those notes, and he's just more comfortable not having to look. I understand why he's doing it. So
if you want to see me live and in person, just come to one of our meet and greets.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Anyway, new movies. Last Breath is a simple but effective thriller, which is inspired by an astonishing real-life situation that also spawned a 2019 documentary. It's a rescue mission to save deep-sea diver Chris Lemons, who was stuck 300 feet below the surface of the ocean during a storm with a limited supply of oxygen left in his tank. Oh, my God. I mean, we're privy to some pretty intriguing prep work, too, for these daring divers who, in this case, were working on repairing an underwater pipeline below the North Sea. they kind of have to stay in a pressurized pod before and after their dives, which makes for genuine problems when the rescue is necessary. And since they're doing what's called a saturation dive, they can't just haul Lemons up when his oxygen is running out, especially since their supporting ship is being buffeted by the storm above, which is one of the reasons Lemons is in serious trouble. His umbilical connection to the ship gets tangled, and well, what happens is both exciting and surprising. Director and co-screenwriter Alex Parkinson, who also, by the way, directed the documentary this dramatization is based on, he keeps things swimming no matter how choppy the waters get.
Oh
And
my
the cast
God.
is damn, I know, I can't stop myself.
Uh,
The cast is so good, and they are just right for the roles they play. And they're led by Woody Harrelson as the grizzled, laconic team leader, Duncan. Simu Liu,
laconic. I can't let it go. It's a ding word.
okay,
Yeah,
dang it.
go ahead.
Simu Liu, who is Marvel's Shang-Chi and played the slacker son on the sitcom Kim's Convenience. Here, he is the meticulous diver Dave, and Finn Cole of the justifiably popular TV shows Peaky Blinders and Animal Kingdom is the imperiled but courageous Chris. And they're stuck together in a pressurized pod and diving vehicle for weeks when they take on the job. So it is like a pressure cooker. New Zealand character lead Cliff Curtis is the support ship's captain, and Myanna Burring is his first mate. And they're both doing everything they can at their end to rescue Chris, dead or alive. And having not seen the documentary, I went into this not knowing the outcome.
Yeah.
I would suggest that if you looked on the armrests of my seat after I left the theater, you would see my handprints from gripping them so tightly throughout
Wow.
the last half of Last Breath.
I am excited. I don't know the ending of this either. So this is in theaters.
It's in theaters where it will truly be an immersive experience.
Oh my God.
But it's sure to be entertaining when it reaches streaming, and that'll give you the added benefit of pausing the video if you need to catch your breath.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
I thought Last Breath was really good of kind.
Great.
Okay, it's actually a pretty good weekend for movies. Inspired by the real struggles of veterans returning to the States after fighting in Afghanistan, director Kyle Houseman Stokes and his co screenwriter A.J. Bermudez made My Dead Friend Zoe, which sounds like a horror comedy and, in fact, has a few chuckles here and there, even if it deals with a very dark subject. Sonequa Martin Green of Star Trek Discovery and The Walking Dead plays a U.S. Army vet named Merritt, and she's back from Afghanistan and having a very hard time readjusting to civilian life. She's really bulky at group sessions meant to help military men and women dealing with PTSD. She's surly to her mother, and she's clashing with her grandfather, a decorated Vietnam vet living alone in the family's longtime lakeside house and starting to show evidence of early stage Alzheimer's. A major reason for Merritt's issues is the ghostly presence of her dead BFF from her Army unit, Zoe, who was like kind of a cynical Jiminy Cricket, spouting snarky comments that contribute to alienating Merritt from everybody in her life, including a potential boyfriend. So the reason for Zoe's presence is at the heart of Merritt's attitude and her disassociation from everybody dear to her. And Houseman Stokes allow the revelations to kind of slowly give the entire picture over the course of the movie. Martin Green is given what is probably the best role of her career to date, and she runs with it. And her fellow actors play off of her beautifully, especially an impish Natalie Morales as Zoe and the eternally impressive Ed Harris as Merritt's grandfather, who is furious at the idea of leaving his cabin by the lake and being stuck in an assisted living facility. I should also mention that no less than Morgan Freeman plays Dr. Cole, the concerned but caring counselor of Merritt's VA group, where she is less than forthcoming. The reliable Gloria Rubin is on board as Merritt's frazzled mother, and Utkarsh Ambudkar, co-star of TV's hit sitcom Ghosts, shows up as Merritt's possible love interest. My best friend Zoe, I mean, it has moments when the interplay between Merritt and Zoe smacks of two goofy girls buddy comedy, but at its heart is a serious gut check into how we survive tragedy and cope with grief. It is in theaters, and it's a very good film.
It's My Dead Friend Zoe, it's called. Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
my dead friend Zoe. What did I call it?
You just at one point you just said my best friend Zoe. So I just want to
Oh
make
yeah,
sure.
well,
Yeah.
my best dead friend Zoe. How about that? Does that work for you?
Well, look, I'm just trying to be true to the material. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I
These are
appreciate
artists.
the help. I seriously do.
Okay. Go ahead.
Anyway, let's move on because there's another decent movie out there, and this has kind of a dazzling cast. I had fun watching Riff Raff, which also addresses death and family conflict, although it does so in a more overtly comedic way than My Dead Friend Zoe, and in the context of criminal activity. So the central figure in Riff Raff is Vincent, who has left a life of crime. He wants to live happily with his second wife, Sandy, and his adopted son, DJ. So they're at their own cabin in the woods to celebrate New Year when who shows up unexpectedly but Rocco, who is Vincent's disaffected son from his first marriage, along with Rocco's pregnant girlfriend, Marina, and his mother, Ruth, who is Vincent's first wife. And so, why are they there? Well, Rocco did a thing, and that thing has put a mob boss and his gunman on Rocco's tail for revenge. So the pot is boiling, and to sweeten the stew, the actors are the highest quality ingredients. Vincent is played by Ed Harris. That's right. This weekend
Wow. Ed Harris
brings
getting a
us
lot of work done this week.
what's an Ed
Yeah.
Harris double feature. And here's
Yeah.
the craziness. He actually plays a patriarch with a cabin in both movies, but these are very, very different films. That coincidence aside, the cast also features Bill Murray and Pete Davidson,
Wow.
the SNL alumni comedy team you never expected, as the mob boss and the gunman. Jennifer Coolidge as the perpetually drunken and disgruntled ex-wife Ruth. That's definitely in her sweet spot. Louis Pullman as the luckless Rocco, Gabrielle Union as the perplexed second wife Sandy, and narrating the story while living it, Miles J. Harvey as Sandy's pudgy, affable son DJ, who seems to be treated by Vincent with far more loving kindness than Rocco ever got from dear old dad. Dino Montiel directs them with competence as they give John Polano's okay script what they can. Look, Riff Raff won't win any Oscars, but thanks to the performers on screen, it kept my attention and gave me a few laughs. It seems like a likely candidate for home streaming if you like the sound of it, but it is in select theaters. Let's see if we can squeeze in one more movie. And that movie is really pretty damn good as well. It's called Cold Wallet, and I enjoyed it with fewer reservations than I had towards Riff Raff. It's a smart thriller inspired by true events, of course, all about a scruffy trio of working class types who decide to invest in cryptocurrency and get rich quick, but they lose their precious investments when the Bitcoin they bought goes bust. They then figure out that the head of that crypto outfit, who purportedly died, is in fact alive, and they decide to go to his remote mansion and force him into giving back all the money he stole from them and the rest of his investors by unlocking the money with the digital key that he is coveting. So the bastard who orchestrated this scam is a weasel, and he won't give up his ill-gotten profits easily. And the conflict between the three home invaders and this crypto kingpin escalates, and he tries to play them off one another. The trio is played by Raul Castillo, kind of a hothead. He's the one waving a gun around. Melanie Diaz, who is the member of the trio who decides that it would be a good idea to chase this guy down and get his ill-gotten gain back. And Tony Cavallero, he kind of the muscle, nice guy. He works in a gym. He's got a spiritual side, so he doesn't want to hurt anyone. And that anyone is the slime ball played by Josh Brenner. Great piece of casting there, too. The director of this thing, Cutter Hodiern, did a great job. I thought the screenwriter, John Hibby, navigated a lot of the confusion about this kind of economic interaction and the nature of crypto and blockchain and the rest. It's not all that clear, but it kind of doesn't matter because Cold Wallet just kind of kicks ass. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, wow.
It
How
is
about that?
in limited theaters right now, but it'll stream this weekend as well. So you can go to various video on demand outlets and watch Cold Wallet, produced by the way by Steven Soderbergh.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Wow, Soderbergh's just so
And
wonderful.
he did a good job in terms of selecting a movie that probably wasn't, on everybody's radar, and probably didn't cost a lot to make, but had a lot of punch. So
I
that's the
love it.
movie scene, man.
Yeah, Cold Wallet is that movie about the crypto and the having to get the crypto code, and Michael really liked it. So just hang on tight. It's a great ride. Produced by Steven Soderbergh. Riff Raff is that Ed Harris film, one of two that Michael has mentioned in his run today. It also has Bill Murray and Pete Davidson in it. He really liked it. He thinks it's more laughs than the movie that probably wasn't designed to have a lot of laughs, as Michael says, which was the My Dead Friend Zoe, which was inspired by veterans returning from Afghanistan. A dark subject, a few lighter moments, though. And Michael liked that. Again, Ed Harris is in it, but also Morgan Freeman. There's some high-profile actors associated with that one. That's called My Dead Friend Zoe. And finally, he really liked Last Breath, which is a true story, or at least based on a true story. Woody Harrelson is in this one. And Michael said it's riveting. He didn't say riveting, but that was the implication of his review. I'm excited to see that. That's in theaters, but Michael says it will very well end up streaming soon, and that might be a better way to digest it. So
I actually think the immersive nature, as I said jokingly, of a theater would probably be a skosh better than watching at home, because you're trapped with this guy 300 feet below the surface of the North Sea. But you know what? It'll play well at home. It really will.
all right. I mean, if I can see it in the theater, I'll try to.
Yeah.
Yeah. The anything else on our way out, Michael?
Sure.
Michael's a big San Francisco guy, as you can tell. Big Warriors fan. The Warriors signed Jimmy Butler, right? Isn't he a force?
Let me tell you something. I was opposed to it because he's always been a disruptive force on previous teams. He gets disgruntled after time. At least that's been the history, that Jimmy Butler, who is a very talented basketball player, is strong in the paint, will get fouls called, and go to the foul line, something the Warriors haven't been very good at. I didn't think this would be, a perfect addition. They're 7-1 since he joined the team.
Winning has a wild way of chilling everybody out.
He's fit right in. They gave him a contract for next year as well. Steph went off last night, over 50 points.
I saw it, 58, I think. Incredible. Yeah.
I think 11 or 12 threes. It was a show. It was a show to
Michael,
watch.
we love you. You can read more of Michael Snyder at thevoicesf.org. He's a San Francisco kid. Thevoicesf.org has a lot of his musings beyond just the world of movies and streaming and music. But enjoy the weekend, Michael. Happy Oscars to you. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael. That is a farewell. Wow.